And we are here at this summit, and I think we are walking on this road of hope. We are here because we care. But I'm also here because I'm worried. I'm worried about the millions who don't have access to education. I'm worried about the millions of women who are barred by society to go out there and achieve. At a level, I'm worried about the state of our people. Okay, perfect. There we are. You know, I was reading this book very recently. At the back of it, it had this old African proverb. It said, if you want to go fast, go alone. But if you want to go far, go together. And we, as Hindus, need to go far on this road of hope. And that is one of the reasons why I wanted to come here and talk to you about this. Now, my journey began around 4 years ago, which has taken me to the stage here. I was at university in New Zealand, and I heard about this competition called Microsoft Imagine Cup. It's the world's biggest technology competition. You know, I was sitting in the crowd, some other people were presenting. I was sitting with another friend of mine from India, Kayo. And I said, you know, Kayo, we have to take part in this competition because if these guys can do it, we can do it. And we took part in this competition. And one beep was born out of it. Now, we addressed a problem. I have always been very adamant on the fact that education lays the groundwork to solve all the other problems. Same concept that, you know, teach a person how to fish rather than give them a fish. So I found out about this organization called One Laptop Per Child, OLPC, and Intel Classmate PC. These people give out cheap laptops in the education world. You know, about 30 million of these laptops have gone into parts of Africa, Southeast Asia, South America. India has got a thing called Akash tablets. A lot of these devices are going in regions that don't have internet. So the question then was, well, how do you provide connectivity to them? What do we do so we can send books to them, education content to them, health curriculum to them without internet? So what we did was we came up with a way that you can provide internet over FM radio. You can plug your FM radio into the computer and use the internet. Now I own this technology, and I'm proud to share this with you that we have chosen to give this technology away for free to everybody who wants to use it anywhere in the world. But that was just the beginning. We won Microsoft Imagine Cup, but I wanted to do more. I grew up in India. My father was in the army there, and as a kid, I had malaria a few times. It was a horrible experience. And I wanted to do something about malaria. So what we ended up doing is we wrote an algorithm that processes the growth of malaria all over the world based on satellite imagery, based on, well, I don't want to get into details. We'll have another conference for that. But what we ended up doing was we built an extensive global system that predicts and then also deploys medicine for malaria relief all over the world. And I'm proud to share this with you. This program is now being taken ahead by Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation. So all of this began with the concept of why. You know, why do you do what you do? And I asked this to the youth group yesterday as well, a few members I was talking to. Why do you wake up in the morning? Why do you want to become an engineer or an artist or a businessman? Why lies at the core of what I do as well. I wanted to change the world. It sounds such a big thing to say, but when you break it down to little steps and little stages, it is possible. And then the second biggest question came into my mind, man, this is what I want to do. Who do I do it with? Who are the people that want to share this vision along with me and execute it? And that's when I found that I have, you know, both of these projects were built with Hindu teams because they work from the heart. I have never worked with anybody else in my life who has really come that close within a team and really shared that vision that deeply than the Hindu counterparts of my team. And I'm proud to say this. And last came the what. So we didn't begin with an idea. We didn't begin with saying, hey, this is what we want to do, or let's, you know, go after education or malaria. No. We began with why. We wanted to change the world. Who? We wanted to work with other Hindus who work from the heart and who work together. And then we thought, well, now we are together, let's think about the what. Most of the times teams don't come together, people don't come together because they begin with the what. You know, what should we do? That's last. Don't think about the what. Spend your time on the why and the who. And I'll tell you, the what will figure out itself. Now, this is one of my favorite quotes by Albert Einstein. Because, well, when we were living in New Zealand, and New Zealand is very geographically isolated, And I think it's about 10 to 15 years behind in terms of technology as well, where the rest of the world is. So we were in this cocoon of ourselves, and it's very hard to think outside of the cocoon. And I think a lot of Hindus all over the world are in these pockets of cocoons, and it's very hard to jump out of that mindset and really look at a world from a bird's eye view. And this is something that's helped me, which I wanted to share with you. Now, I worked hard after we've gotten to Imagine Cup to go to different conferences, take parts in different competitions, because that really gave me an understanding, like here. Yesterday, just hearing you guys, I was like, this room knows more about what I'm about to say, and they've forgotten more about it than I've even learned. But I still came here on stage because I wanted to share my vision with you. But this exposure was priceless, and I'm glad that these guys are doing this, what they're doing with the youth conference in Bali, because if you get Hindus together, and when they talk, they'll discuss what they're seeing in the rest of the world, what problems are they facing, what opportunities do they see. This coming together is very important. And second is cross-disciplinary internships. Now you guys have companies ranging from healthcare to education to infrastructure development. I urge you to get the Hindu youth into your companies as interns, because they will really, now this is an opportunity for them to experience what it is like. You can show them, hey, I can do this, you can do this. I look at people like Bill Gates, Steve Jobs. It's nice to look up to them, but I can't relate to them. They're up there. I need somebody I can say, hey, this guy followed a journey similar to mine. I can do this as well. That is a very powerful thing to have. And last is mentors. I cannot overstress the point of this. And mentors for me, it's a very religious relationship that I have with my mentors. They'll scold me, they'll get angry at me, they'll laugh at me, they'll have, those moments that you share with a person, that trust that you build with that person, and when they urge you and they tell you can do it, you don't need anything else in the world then. You don't need the world's approval if that person, that mentor tells you that. And I had that. I was lucky to have that. Now, at this point in time, if somebody asked me, who would you want to raise money from, I'd say Vinod Khosla. That is one man I'd sit across the table and I'd pitch my heart out to. But there's only one Vinod Khosla in this world. Right? There are very few people with the money and the knowledge that he has. But there are a lot of people in this room that have a lot of money. And there are a lot of people in this room who have very specific industry experience and expertise. Hindu entrepreneurs, most of the times, things don't go ahead because they're missing both of these two things, and they're trying to find it in one person. It's very hard. Globally, there are maybe 5 or 6 people who have this together. So we need a fund. We need a Hindu fund like the bank that we talked about yesterday. We don't just need money. Involve professors, involve engineers, involve doctors. Get those people coming in. Once this pool comes together, that is a smart fund. So you have money and you have experience. And that is what's needed at this point in time. Now, people yesterday as well, everybody was talking about, looking at global predictions, where are the markets going, where the opportunities lie. I don't think so. I don't look at the world that way. I don't look at predictions. I think of it in this way, that ask what makes you come alive. What is that thing? What thing jise andar se aag nikalti? What is that thing? And go do it. Because ladies and gentlemen, what the world needs is people who have come alive. And there are many people in this room like that. It's just a matter of execution that we need. Thought out. And it is possible. What saddens me more is not that there's a lack of potential, but there's lack of harnessing that potential. That is the saddest part of all. Now, I come to this story because they have motivated me for a very long time. Oliver and Wilbur Wright. Their idea was not embraced at first, but they didn't care. They were mad about it. They were fascinated by the vision of flying. They didn't care what the world thought. There were no big pools of money. Half the times, 90% of the entrepreneurs that I meet, they say we don't have access to funding, we don't have this, we don't have that. These guys didn't have anything. There was a guy called Samuel DuPont Langley. How many people in this world room have heard of him? One person. This was the guy that was given huge amounts of funding by the US government to go build an aircraft that can fly. These guys had a cycle shop. They had nothing. But they had that vision, that burning fascination with the fact that can we fly? Now, this had never been done before. Half the engineers that I meet, and when they hit a point which has never been done before, they're like, it's not been done before. Maybe there's no market for it. Maybe nobody will pay for it. All that's irrelevant. If you think that there is a market for it, if you want it, there are a million other people like you in the world. And that's what matters. There's billions of people. So there are bound to be a million other people. If a million people will pay $1 for your product, you have $1 million. And then you can do something else. Don't stop there. It's never been done before. I take that as a challenge. I'm like, that's awesome. It's never been done before. I'm going to be the first person to do it. That's what I think. Now, engineering failed over and over again. Now, failure is, people say failure is overrated. No, it is not. Denzel Washington, favorite actor of mine, talked about the concept of falling forward, so that when you actually get up, you have covered that distance. And that is what failure is about. I learned through it. But that doesn't mean I keep, what's stupid is repeating those mistakes. But I embrace failure. In my team, whenever we work in the company, there's an environment of accountability, not blame. And that's what I want to urge you to have in your companies as well. If somebody messes up, don't put blame on them. Accountability is what's important. Let them learn from it. Give them the room to make errors. If they don't make errors, they're not going to learn. We're not going to move ahead. And these guys didn't have a pilot's license. Because they didn't need it. One doesn't need the permission to change the world. Success is not permanent. That is very important. You will not always stay here. Nobody does. But failure isn't final. You move on. You learn something. You do something else. You meet new people. It is very important to have that growth keeping on going. It is slow, it is painful, but it is what we have to do. We have to do this on the behalf of billions of Hindus out there. If we don't take charge, who will? And this is something, if you don't remember anything else that I have said today, just remember this. If you have a dream, don't let anybody take it away from you. If people can't do something, they want to tell you you can't do it as well. Don't listen to them. You have a dream, you pursue it, and go get it. And just before I end, I have a dream of global Hindu economic dominance. And I know you have it as well. And I know we can get it together. Thank you very much.